Okay, so the question is, can you put a tang in a 75-gallon aquarium? And the answer is yes. When I finally upgraded from my Red Sea Reefer 200, which has a 42-gallon display, I was disappointed to find that a 75-gallon isn't big enough for a full-grown yellow tang, or like the more sought-after blue tangs or gem tangs. But what if I told you that there are tangs with just as much personality and, in my opinion, look a lot cooler than some tangs that require 300 plus gallons, which are tangs in the bristletooth family. Coal tangs, Tomini tangs, chevron tangs, and the one I have, a whitetail tang. So I've had my whitetail bristletooth tang for about 3 years now. His name's Acorn. He's right over there. It's kind of hard to see him. But yeah, in this video, I'll go over the facts and then care requirements and some benefits of having a fish like Acorn, a bristletooth tang. And then finally, I'll cover the cons of having a tang in a 75-gallon. Let's go over some quick facts, all right? So first of all, these fish get their name from their bristly mouth. At least the whitetail tangs will run up to $250. They reach sizes up to around 7 inches, and they have comb-like teeth to graze on algae film. Whitetail bristletooth tangs are native to the southern Pacific region. For the whitetail bristletooth tang, the juvenile and the adult looks very, very different. So the one I have, Acorn, he's an adult. You can see how they have a yellow kind of stripe behind their eye, and they kind of have a line with peckered spots kind of pattern. But as a juvenile, they're neon orange, which is pretty cool. I'm pretty sure they usually come in adults, though. I've never seen a juvenile one at a fish store. They are omnivores. They primarily eat marine algae. So for tanks on the smaller side that have less live rock to grow algae, like, 75 gallons, because 75 gallons is pretty much the minimum you would need for a fish like this, you'll need to supplement your tank's diet with nori, or other vegetable matter like romaine lettuce, spinach, leaves, or broccoli. And it's important when you're feeding them these kinds of foods that you buy foods without any preservatives. For example, this is nori I feed Acorn, and if you look in the ingredients, you'll see that the ingredients is roasted seaweed. So you don't want any kind of like salt or like soy sauce, none of that stuff. So mine also loves Rod's herbivore blends, which is a mix of whole shrimp, whole squid, whole oyster, whole clam, whole octopus, and like all that other stuff, a lot of meats, but also purple seaweed, spinach, broccoli, carrots, stuff like that. They also eat flake foods and pellets, and they'll sometimes eat small offerings like mysis shrimp. I find that mine doesn't really like mysis shrimp. He does, however, like brine shrimp. In terms of pellets, I really recommend this one, the New Life Spectrum Marine Fish Pellet, because I don't know, like he goes feral for this stuff. I'll drop some in right now. And it's like, when I first got him, he wasn't eating. I dropped some of his pellets, and yeah, he just started eating. And there's a lot of these, so it's pretty worth it. In terms of being reef safe, the big question, in a 75-gallon, yes, they are reef safe. However, it's important to consider that they are semi-aggressive. However, they are highly aggressive to other tangs. So if you want a tang in a 75-gallon, you only want one tang. But in terms of being semi-aggressive, he always bullies newcomers. And like once they kind of get established like this, you can see they're obviously getting along. But when you just add a fish in, he'll kind of chase them around. And for some smaller fish, it'll really stress them out and they might even die. For that reason, I suggest adding the tang last. But obviously, if you can't, you could try getting an acclimation box or something to just try to ease the transition between adding a new fish, because these tangs are pretty aggressive towards new fish. All right, in terms of the actual parameters, you'll want, pretty much if you have corals, right, these tang will be fine. Like the magnesium, you want around the same level, like 1200, alkalinity, like 7.6. It can be a little lower, a little higher. In terms of temperature, you want 72 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. The specific gravity, you want between 1.023 to 1.027 parts per trillion, I think. For pH, you want around 8 to 8.5, but then again, these fish are pretty hardy. Like, it's not gonna be like an alkalinity swing, a minor one might kill your acropora core. It won't kill this fish. So some pros based off of my experience and some of other reefers' experience on like Reef to Reef. They are very vibrant, lots of personality. Like, I can easily tell what kind of fish this guy is. Like, if this guy was a person, he'd be kind of like an introvert, bully type kind of guy, right? He gets scared of me because I'm bigger than him, but then when he sees someone smaller than him, he bullies them. And he's also very curious. Like, if I put my camera to the glass, he'll kind of swim in circles, closer and then further, just kind of seeing what it is, running away, seeing what it is. So yeah, they have a lot of personality. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all you can ask from a fish, right? And they look nice. They have very vibrant white tail, even as adults, and they have a very, very unique kind of pattern with spots near the head and stripes on the body. So some cons, like I mentioned before, they are kind of a bully to new fish, and they do need abundant algae for grazing. So yeah, I mean, my tank has a lot of algae on it because I don't run too much filtration. Most of my filtration is from algae on the rocks, filter feeders, sponges. So it's kind of like an ideal environment for him. But for some that might run a more sterile tank, you definitely need to substitute his diet with nori daily. I also like mass gainer, just rubbing it on the rocks. He likes to eat that. And another con is actually they won't, in my experience, eat macroalgae. So if you have like a chlorpa infestation, right, they won't eat that. But other than that, yeah, they're pretty solid. So yeah, I love this guy. He's like, his name's Acorn, but his nickname is Creamy Lips because his lips are like two diamonds, and he uses them to scrape everything, and they're white. So it's really fun to watch him, and you know they kind of swim in a unique way. But yeah, I'd recommend getting one for yourself. So.